Hello there. I've just pulled over after a second viewing of a property that we're about to place a bid on behalf of a client. And the reason I want to make this video is to tell you about bidding, because before I put a bid on the property, I want to check what's the position of the other bidder. In this case, there's one other bidder on the property. So the question I want to really know is the other bidder cash? Because cash is probably number one in terms of being strong competition. The cash buyer is going to be my number one competition if it's cash. Number two competition would be people who are in the same position as us, which is we are going to be loan approved. My client will be using a loan to buy this property. So anyone who's bidding against us who's loan approved is basically in the same boat. Anyone who's bidding cash is going to be in a stronger position. So they may need to bid less cash in order to get the property because they're more certain. So in terms of bidding ranking, we've got cash, number one, loan approval, number two, or number three, as is the case in this particular case, the other bidders are subject to the sale of their property. So if you hear that someone who is bidding against you is subject to the sale of their own property, it's probably a good idea to find out how far advanced in the sale of their own property are they. E.g., has their property just gone on the market, in which case they've got a fair bit of road to travel before they get a buyer, go sale agreed, issue contracts to them, get the contract signed. So if someone who's not far along the road of selling their own property is bidding against you, I would suggest that they're not very strong competition. However, if they're selling something and they're bidding against you and they've already sale agreed, the contracts have issued to the buyer and the buyer has signed those contracts, then I would consider they are pretty well of equal weighting against you as a bidder. So if you're bidding on a property, make sure you ask if there are other bids involved. Who are you bidding against? Because that's going to give you an idea of how seriously their bid is likely to be taken. And depending on how seriously their bid is likely to be taken, you can decide whether you need to outbid them, or whether you need to match them, or whether you need to maybe you don't need to pay any attention to them at all because you may feel that they're just not strong at all against you. So you may just bid the same as them. So there are my thoughts on bidding. If you're bidding, check out who your competition is. Not all agents will tell you, but most agents will give you some clue. And even if they don't actually answer your question directly, in my experience, agents always leak information because we all chat and they tend to let something slip or something out. So no harm to pay attention to what the agent is saying and what they're not saying in terms of the other bidders. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful.